And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's another episode of your favorite podcast, Keeping It Rio. You got the Chuckster over here, and I've got an amazing guest today. It is Monday morning, 6 a.m., and we are both wide awake. So take a second, everybody. Welcome my guest, Clint Riggin, to the program. Clint, welcome to Keeping It Rio, my friend. How you doing today?
Chuck, thank you so much, brother. I'm doing amazing. I think we're both early risers, which is a great thing. I got my coffee right here. I'm sure you got some coffee right. Oh, there it is. Boom,
Oh,
ready
yeah.
to go. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to help your audience and impact as many people as I can while we're on this podcast this morning.
Me too. I get a lot of unique guests. I've had people from all over the world. I've had magicians. I've had morticians, professional wrestlers. I've had
Wow.
$100 million company owners. I've had
Wow.
bestsellers, 6 of them, as a matter of fact. So I always like to go out and find people that have interesting, inspiring stories and,
Yeah.
talk about it. So that's
That's
what
all
we're going to
about.
do this morning. It's we're
Yeah.
kicking off our week with authority. Why don't you tell the audience here just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I'll go all the way back from my military days, right? So I was 17 years old. I joined the military, went straight into boot camp in Great Lakes, Illinois. And then I went to Pensacola, Florida for A school. I was an aviation structural mechanic. So I was there for about a year, got my training, went to Washington State, worked on E-18 Growlers, which are like EMP F-18s, if nobody knows that. And then I went into Hawaii for 6 years, worked on MH-60 Romeo helicopters. That's when I really got into competition days. And I started competing in bodybuilding. Did my first show in 2015. Then I went to 2017, did my second show. And then my third show, which I won the Strong Ray Classic in 2018, which was like the pinnacle where I was like, man, I was so excited. I finally did it. It was that next step. But then I didn't realize that competition would change the rest of my life. My thyroid stopped working 3 or 4 months after. And your
Wow.
thyroid controls everything pretty much in your body, to your hair growth, to your weight, to your hormones just in general. And I gained 45 pounds. I went suicidal. I put a gun to my head. I did not commit suicide, thank God, because God had a bigger purpose for me. And I didn't see it at that time, but I see it now. So all of that happened. It took about 6 months for me to get back where I needed to be. The doctors finally, the naval doctors, which they didn't believe I had a problem because it was all self-induced. Because when you're on stage, you take steroids, and the steroids will change your hormones and etc. So I had to be honest with them. Hey, listen, I took this, and that. This is why my thyroid's here. And they still helped me, thankfully. But it took a while for me to get back to where I needed to. Right, it took me a while to lose that 45 pounds, get my hormones back where it needed to be. And I also got kicked out of the military for popping on a urinalysis test, right? For drugs, for cocaine.
Oh,
Because
wow.
yeah, the story just
Okay.
keeps getting better
I
and
wasn't
better.
expecting that.
let's just keep rolling it up. So it never got signed by from the receiving end. So I never actually was able to get charged for it. Right. So another blessing from God. Thank you. You're trying to show me something. So moving forward, I get out of the military. I got an honorable discharge. I go to school in California. But I was partying in Hawaii. So that transferred over to San Diego. I started working at clubs. I was doing bottle service. I was hanging out with the wrong people. While all that was happening, I was working private security for the President Trump while going to all of his rallies, working with the Secret Service to make sure that the 30,000 participants didn't get into his speech and make sure that the news saw all the other garbage out there. So I was doing that. I was traveling back and forth. I met somebody while I was in California and visiting from Oregon. I decided, because I was dumb and I was young, I was going to go move in with her in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
COVID hit. Okay. COVID hits. And I now am with this woman all day, all long. You really learn about somebody when you're with them 24 hours a day. Well, I found that like my party habits and her party habits were not going to work if I wanted to start this fitness coaching business, because that's where my next step was. I was like, what am I doing? I'm going to school for kinesiology. I really want to do a fitness. I really want to do fitness because that was something that's really near and dear to my heart. I want to show people that you can overcome adversity at any time in your life. So I start my fitness business, Limitless Coaching, but I know that something I have to get out of this. And I think God gave me another blessing because she did something that involved, we'll just say drugs. Yeah, I didn't like it. I moved on, went to my friend's house, slept on a couch for 6 months while I created Limitless Coaching. I just woke up every day, grinded, got on the laptop like I am now, and just went and did as much as I can. I posted my workouts on Instagram. I would just put, hey guys, this is what I'm doing. This is my nutrition. I would just show people what I'm doing. And then people would want to be, oh, wow, that's awesome. I'd love to hear more because I didn't want to lose this weight or I want to do this. And I was like, wow, it's actually really working. So that went for about a year and a couple months, and Limitless took off. 250 client transformations in the first year. We did over 500,000. It was amazing. I had partners, I had employees. It was awesome. But how I tell people, because they ask me like, what happened? I say I had everything, but I had nothing. Right? I had the clients, I had the money, I had the life. I was flying on jets. I was going to masterminds. I was doing all these things. But I didn't realize I didn't have my family. I didn't have my relationships. I didn't have the people closest to me. I didn't have God in my life. I didn't have any of these things that truly mattered moving forward. So that's when I had a 12-month depression. A depression that I can't even say how hard it was, because like going back to that moment is just so tough, right? Like waking up every day not wanting to be alive, going to sleep so late that I wouldn't be able to see the next day, like those kind of things. Going into shower but not turning on the light because I didn't want to see myself in the mirror. Like that is some real stuff. And I'm on a road trip right now across the US. I'm at day 76. That's why I'm in Wisconsin. And when I left Tampa, I left with my best friend, and he said he was getting out of a relationship that was not doing him any favors. I was in, my depression. He said, hey man, this is the last straw. Like you got me out of this depression when I first met you 2.5 years ago, and I'm here to get you out now. And I mean, without him, I definitely wouldn't be here 100%. And I've had a change over the last 76 days that I've never thought I could ever have in my life. I realized that the monetary value does not matter as much as your relationships with God, your relationships with your family, your relationships with your friends. Everything that we overlook, I feel like sometimes, especially in entrepreneurship, because I was like, I need to do a 4 a.m. wake up call. I need to hop in an ice cold 30-degree bath. Then I need to hop in a sauna. Then I need to read my 10 pages. Then I need to do all these things to be a millionaire. That's what I thought. And I literally just was so burnt out that I just couldn't keep going on. So now that I found that, my biggest thing now is, so on this trip, to impact as many people as I can, right? But there's 5 areas of your life: family, fitness, focus, finance, and faith. And what you do is you write down those 5 areas of your life. And what I could do right now is I could take you guys through an exercise if you would like. I can take you through one as well. If you have a piece of paper, if your audience has a piece of paper, you will.
I don't write. Me.
Okay. Well, just you can remember, it's not a lot. How we calculate our macros, how we calculate how many calories are coming into our body, we always do an equation, right? So I want to do the life equation with you, right? So you write down family, fitness, focus, finance, and faith. You're going to grade yourself 1 to 10 on how you are in those areas. From 1 to 10, then you're going to add up those numbers. You're going to take that total number and you're going to divide it by 50, which is going to give you a decimal. Then you're going to multiply by 100. That's your winning percentage in life. Most of the time, we don't understand that our winning percentage is not where it needs to be or where we want it to be. So I did this with my friend yesterday, and he said, okay, it's 25 divided by 50. Okay, times 100. He said 50%. I said, yeah, so you're giving 50% in everything you do in life right now. You're giving half of what you're capable of. So how do we get that to 90%? Right? We're never going to be 100%. We're not perfect. We're not God. We're not that person. But we can do everything in our power to move forward to increase our winning percentage every day. So I designed the Limitless experience where we focus on your fitness, we focus on your nutrition, we focus on your blood work, your HRT, we get your meal preps, we do your supplementation, we do all of that. But we also focus on your family. We focus on your faith, the universe. If you're not religious, that's fine. Whatever you believe in. And then we focus on your finance and your focus, which is your mental health and your mindset. Because I believe all of those encompass our life and what we do. And it's this 6-month program that you come through, and we're going to be able to identify where you are, who you need to be or have access to, where our coaches are going to come in and help you, weekly calls with those different coaches in those 5 areas, so that you can increase your winning percentage in life and you can live a limitless mindset with the limitless life you need.
Man, okay, so you've just given us a lot to talk about here. This is great, and I
Yeah, I'm
really
sorry. That
appreciate
was
it.
a lot. That was a lot.
No, I love it. Okay, you just like I said, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I can certainly understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I think that this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, right? And I think it's really cool that here over the last few years, I've seen more guys that are willing to discuss some of the things that we go through in life and some of the problems that we have. It's not the most masculine, like, badass thing to tell people, damn, I've laid in bed all day because I didn't want to wake up and I didn't want to face the world, because there have been times in the last year and a half in my life where I've had all kinds of things. And I look at it now and it's like, okay, this is actually just an opportunity for me to continue to grow and to get better and stronger and continue pushing forward. But when you're in the moments, man, I mean, like, you don't know. There's nobody to talk to. There's nobody really that understands how you feel, or at least that's what you think. And I never got to the point where I stuck a gun to my head, but God, I can certainly appreciate, thank you for not pulling the trigger, because it's one of those things that you look in that moment and say, wow, that literally I was that close to just not being here right now. So I'm very thankful that you didn't, but I understand that feeling, and I understand there were times in the last couple of years where I thought, I know why people do that. I understand where you get into a dark place where you feel like there's no way to get out. You feel like nobody's there for you. You feel like you're just kind of alone, and man, it's brutal. So I mean, going all the way back, like you said, in the military, having the drug testing stuff go wrong for you, that right there is a major shift in your life, where you probably had a lot of people that were your friends that all of a sudden just kind of disappeared when you turned around.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happens when we face adversity. We find out who really is on our side and who's got our back.
Yeah.
And, I love that you said there's, an individual that was there. And if it weren't for this person, I wouldn't be here right now, because I think every good comeback story has one of those people at least. And it's
100%.
like, you know what? You changed my life. You made me feel better about myself. And, thank God for that, because somebody cared enough to reach out and say, Clint, man, you've got this. You've got so much more to offer. There's a bigger picture, and you listened to him and you took the action. So kudos to you. I wanted to ask you about the thyroid.
Yeah.
So
sure.
that I know some people that have thyroid issues, and I know that it can be something that plagues you for your entire life, and that sometimes there's just nothing that you can even do. You try to find the proper medications and whatnot, and sometimes it's erratic and you can't control it. You gain 45 pounds, you're depressed, you're dealing with all that stuff. Was that thyroid condition a direct result of doing, like you said, steroids for bodybuilding contests, or was it just something that kind of came about?
Yeah, no, definitely a direct correlation for sure. So I was on 12 cc's a week, which, let me put that into perspective for you. The normal doctor prescribed TRT dose is 1 cc a week. So I was doing 12 times the amount I should as a normal person. Plus, I was taking clenbuterol and T3, which your thyroid is composed of T3 and T4. So I was inserting more T3 into my body, which then my body's probably stopped making it, which then made me hypothyroid, so an underactive thyroid. And when you have an underactive thyroid, it's not like you can just not eat. It doesn't matter. Like you can eat 500 calories a day, you're still going to gain weight, because your hormones are not balanced. And when you're unbalanced, you cannot perform optimally in anything you do. So you're going to be tired all the time. I slept for 18 hours a day, and I was still tired when I woke up. I was bloated in my face. I was bloated in my body. I mean, I think I have a picture on my Facebook actually, when the way I looked, and I was like, oh my God. You know how you saw a picture when you were on stage and you were like, someone's got to change? I saw a picture when I was on a boat, and somebody took a picture of me as I was climbing out the boat, and I was like, that's not me. And I was like, that is me. That's 100% me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do something to change this, because I don't recognize that person.
It's a hell of a motivator, right? I mean, that was me
Yes.
too. My fat Chuck pictures and my fat Chuck phase, I keep those with me for memories. And I look at him and I say, oh my, that was only 2.5, 3 years ago. And
Yeah.
I lost almost 100 pounds because I was looking at myself, and I remember I would get so mad at the camera guy.
Yeah.
Why do you keep taking that angle, dude? I look terrible. Why do I look so fat in these pictures that you take? And then I go back and look, and it's like, no, I was equally fat in the pictures I was taking too. I just, I had to become accountable for that. And that's what happened. I had a picture that showed up. It was 3 years ago today. And when I saw my face was like the size of 3 basketballs, I realized it's time to do some work. And at that point, you put your head down and start working, right?
Yeah. You know, the one thing I realized too, when I was a fitness and nutrition coach, all that mattered was my body. All that mattered is like how I looked, right? It's so common for people to have body dysmorphia when it comes to that, and especially competing too. Because I was like, oh man, I want to be stage ready all the time. It's just not possible. Your body cannot, hold that body fat percentage. You cannot be 3% year round. It's not healthy at all. Like, you put yourselves in very, very drastic limits when you step on stage. So what was I learned to love myself again. I learned to love who I am, that I'm not huge anymore like a bodybuilder, that I'm not shredded anymore like a bodybuilder, that I have so much more to give than just my body. I think that's a really big thing during this journey of healing that I'm going through and learning still to this day, about you don't have to be cut up all the time. You can look good and still have a little body fat on you. Like, it's okay, guys. You don't have to have a 6-pack all the time. Is it cool to have a 6-pack? Yeah, for sure. Is it going to take work? Yeah, it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of work to maintain it. But if that's not your goal, if you're not stepping on stage, if you're not getting paid to compete, if you're not doing all these things, then honestly, I don't see a huge, I guess, need for that anymore. Because before I was like, man, I gotta have a 6-pack all the time. If I don't, I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's just I was at an event that I was a part of a couple weeks ago down in Florida, and that was one of the things, was your fitness and your health. But there are some people that are a little extreme about it.
Who was the speaker?
I don't really want to say.
I know who it is. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Is it the starting line coaching?
I don't think so.
Oh, no?
No.
Cole Taylor?
Nope. I don't even know him. Okay. Probably a good guy.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, he's an incredible speaker, and somebody that I want to give credit to, because I always tell somebody there's always somebody that sees a belief in you before you see the belief in yourself. He saw that belief in me. Like, he knew my potential. He knew where I can go. He just said, hey man, just keep going. And whatever I can do to help you, I want to get you there.
Yeah, it's good to have those people in your life. And I've got 3 or 4 that have helped me along the way and just kind of kept me from self-destructing. And I can appreciate it. But we were at the conference, and, it was a pretty big jacked up dude. And his thing was, if you don't have this 6-pack, you're not a man, and it's like, I don't totally agree with that, because I got like a 4-pack and I feel like I'm fairly masculine,
Listen, there's a couple people out there, that really preach that stuff, but you gotta understand, marketing is a very good tool when it comes to getting people to understand you and your audience, right? So if you have the right audience and you're speaking to that audience, and you're like, listen, you gotta have a 6-pack, you gotta have tattoos, you gotta be shredded, you gotta be huge, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Well, they're gonna want to do that. And you're a millionaire, they're gonna want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the Lamborghini and all that stuff looked kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. I went to the gym that afternoon.
Hey, bro, you got the G63 over here, and then you got the Lambo over here. You're pulling up to your $4 million house, and you're shredded, and you're doing push-ups while you're by the water. Okay, that looks like a cool life.
That's pretty good, I suppose. I could probably handle that. But that's not my path. My path has got a little bit more, I've got some waves I've got to overcome and do all that. And that's the most fun thing. Sure. So you get this going, you decide, okay, I've got to make a huge change in my life. I don't like what I see. I'm depressed. I really don't even want to be a part of this world anymore.
Yep.
You decide you're going to get into the fitness coaching.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that journey. How did you start off? How did you get your name out there? How did you get people to get on board with you and say, hey, man, I see what this guy's doing. I believe in him just like everybody else does. Even, at this first stage, maybe you don't believe in yourself 100% yet. So how did that feel? And how was that, getting into this, knowing, okay, this is what I'm I'm going to focus on from now on. Probably wasn't your initial venture, that you had dreamt of when you got started in life, especially since you're in the Navy or not in the Navy. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Navy. I'm looking at it. My bad. As a mechanic, and I was like, okay. So tell me the evolution. You decide you're going to do this. You take the leap. What does that look like for you? Pretty scary?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely scary. Like you talk about that belief I didn't have inside me whatsoever. You gotta understand, like people knew me for partying. People knew me for like, hey, here comes Clint. Here comes Clint to the after party. Here comes Clint. Hey, Clint, where's the party at? And then you see somebody post on social media, hey guys, I'm a fitness coach and nutrition coach. I'm gonna help you get the body of your dreams. I'm gonna help you live the life you've always imagined. Like, what? What do you mean? How are you gonna do that? So I took a course, probably like most people do. It's called NASM. That was for personal training. So I knew that wasn't really going to help me get anywhere because honestly, most online coaches don't have personal training certificates, to be honest. And then I went through another one called the Next Level Coaching Academy, NLCA. And they're pretty well known. They went through every module from like, okay, sure, how's your payment program is going to work? How do you send a contract? What does this look like when it comes to your training program on this app? How do I set somebody up? How do I market myself? How do I put transformations? Everything. So I was like, awesome. Okay, this seems great. I need to post every day, right, about my fitness. I need to tell people what I'm eating. I need to tell people about my supplementation, my cardio, and I need to have a transformation. Cool. So I put my transformation out first thing. Don't get a lot of feedback, right? Because I'm new on Facebook. I didn't never really posted before. That algorithm isn't really where it needs to be. And then I start posting on Instagram. So what I see is that the people that want to work with me and want to actually see what I'm doing are my Navy friends, right? Because they're getting out now and they've lost themselves. And they're like, Clint, you look amazing, bro. Like, what did you do? Like, how did you go from here to here? And I'm still struggling with partying and doing drugs, but I want to get to where you are. And I was like, awesome. Let's set up a plan. Here you go. And I'm going to charge you this. And I was charging super low, like because again, I didn't have the belief in myself. I had that limiting belief with money that I couldn't charge a lot to coach these people, but I had to learn. So as I started to do that, I still remember this day I joined Apex. And when I joined Apex, I remember being on the phone. I was like, my God, I'm going to spend my last $2,000 to my name, hoping that this works out. I said, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. What do I have to lose? What do I have to lose? I'm going to make this happen. So I joined Apex. And I went gung-ho in Apex. I made a booking link for Calendly right away. I made my intro post and said, hey, this is who I am. I want to connect with every single one of you because I want to learn from you every single day. And I want to see what I can do to help you. Not what I can do to charge you, what I can do to help you. And that authenticity and what I was doing was shown through Apex. And I went to masterminds and I went to Apex Live and I went to MDM and I went to these different things. And I met with these people and I showed them I'm a person just like they are. I might be shredded. I might be in great shape, but you can be there too if you follow these protocols. And what I want to do is something totally different than any other coaching as I've seen, right? So I was like, what do people need in coaching for C-level, C-suite executives, for people who are in an entrepreneur role? Like, what are their pain points during the day, right? One, they couldn't get their meals in because they didn't know what to eat. Awesome. I'm gonna get a meal prep company. I became an athlete with Icon Meals. Never thought that would happen. I reached out to him and I said, hey man, I would love your stuff. I've been ordering for a while. I want to become an athlete with you guys. Awesome. Yeah, let's get on a phone call. Let's talk to the CEO. Cool. Todd Abrams got on the phone, talked to him. Bam. You never know what's gonna happen if you don't ask. Next thing, first form. I want to be a Legionnaire with them. I want to be an athlete with them. But that's like next level. You got to really like build yourself up for that one. But I became a Legionnaire with them so I could add in supplementation to all of my programs and send them what they needed to. So everybody got greens powder, protein powder, and then a multivitamin, right? Because you need a multivitamin, greens powder for your micros because a lot of people don't get your micros in, and your protein because a lot of people don't get a necessary amount of protein as well. So I had these aspects of it, and then Merrick Health came in. And then I was like, hey, well, now I can do blood work and consultations, and you can have your own patient advisor. And I can send in a code that you can go into a website and go to your nearest lab work, get your blood work done, set up your consultation. I can see where your blood work is. I can see where your hormones are, and I can do and plan what I need to do around your plan to get you where you need to be. Because it's all about optimizing performance. I didn't know about all this when I was starting. I was learning this as I go, right? So I have the blood work, I have the HRT, I have the supplements, I have the meal plans, and then I have the coaching program. Everything went well until I got over to 100 clients. And then I realized that I'm only one person and I cannot take on that many people. And that's when I started to fall. I started to fall because I was serving so many people to a certain level. I wasn't serving myself. I get up, I go to the gym. I woke up at 3:30 a.m. every single morning for a year straight. I had a 4 a.m. operations meeting in not California, Australia, sorry. I had 2 partners over there. We would go over marketing, we go over operations, we go over sales, we go over everything we need to do. All right, cool. This is our sales goal. This is what we need to hit. This is how many transformations we can do this month, blah, 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 blah. Awesome. Cool. So the day would start. I go to my gym class, cycle class, whatever it might be. I thought I was serving myself. I thought I was taking care of myself. But I didn't realize working these 18-hour days on the calls from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. every single day was not serving myself at all. Because all I cared about was the money coming in. Ching, 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 ching. Oh, awesome. Sale. Transformation. It was incredible. Then you get so many transformations, you can't give to that person who's trying to transform. And that's what I learned. So during this time, as I grew, people would always message me and say, Clint, you're going to burn out. And I would never understand what they meant. They were like, Clint, you're getting to the burnout stage. Listen, I've been in the business for a while. Like, you're going to burn out. I'm telling you, you need to calm down. You need to slow down. You need to take like a week to yourself now. I would just be like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yep, I'm fine. Listen, I hope you have a great day. Like, I'm good. I'm brand new to this. Like, I have the biggest ego in the world. Well, that ego got shot down real quick. Once my body shut down, I was tired all the time. I started gaining weight. I started not giving a fuck about anything in fitness or nutrition. And then that's when the fall came, to be honest.
Wow. So I can definitely feel your pain on that. I know what it's like. I spread myself way too thin a couple years ago, and you're in that moment. And like you said, you see these transformations and you think, okay, this is fueling me, when in reality, it's not. It's like taking away from you. It's fueling everybody around you. And you're giving so much of yourself that there's nothing left at the end of the day. And, you know, like you just said, you get to a certain point. Now you're not able to serve the people like you intend to do. Do you have people that are now saying, well, Clint, you know, what the hell, dude, I'm paying you good money and now I can't get a hold of you because you're too busy, or my results aren't the same? Or did everything still kind of look like it was going well on the surface, and on the inside you were crumbling and you were thinking, holy shit, I don't think I'm going to make this. But you obviously don't want to advertise that fact. So you kept pushing, right? Until the point of, now I can't do anything further. And it's like, you just said, your body shuts down. You start, you know, just losing interest in everything. When you get to that level, okay, what do you do? Like, how do you get yourself back on track? How do you, you know, is it like addition by subtraction? Do you cut a bunch of people out of your program and, you know, take the risk of maybe ruining your reputation by doing that? Or what's it look like at that point as a one-man show that's trying to serve the world?
Well, the best friend that I was talking about when I met him 2.5 years ago, I mentored him from an Uber driver to an online fitness coach. Right. So nice. I saw him go from, you know, driving people around to saving people's lives, to transformations, and helping people get them where they needed to be, making a better version of themselves. So he started Relentless coaching. So what I did was I actually transferred the clients over to Relentless, and I tried to work with him during that time. But when darkness is in your body and darkness is in yourself at that point, it's so hard to even get up and even try to give to others when you can't give to yourself, you know? So that didn't work for too long, but he was able to get the clients. He was able to get them where they needed to be. And I thank God every day for that, for sure. But a lot of the clients understood. A lot of the clients understood, like, Clint, like, dude, we love you. Like, we're so proud of where we are today because of you. And I need you to take that time to yourself and understand that, like, it's not about the money. It's not about what I paid you. It's about your livelihood and your well-being. And at that time, I didn't really realize that. You know, I just wanted to keep giving and giving and giving. I just wanted to see these people succeed. They were like, you need to succeed first. You need to fill your own cup. And you need to heal.
That is powerful. Yeah. And the reality of that is, a lot of the people you're working with probably have experienced the exact same feeling,
Yeah.
And that's why they were looking for help from you initially.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you're kind of really helping
Right.
each other out throughout the process. And like you say, it's
Yeah.
great that you can find someone that can help you kind of take some of the weight off and still serve the people that you're trying to serve, kind of get yourself back. So you take a step back, take a deep breath, and say, all right, this is a crossroads. I'm either going to make this happen or I'm not. Or did you just go all in at that point and say there's absolutely zero failure here as an option? I'm going for it. I'm going to change the world. And it starts today. Instead of going balls to the wall, though, I'm going to actually be smart about it. I'm going to be analytic, and I'm going to use, I'm going to be methodical in the way that I go about it so I don't have this situation again.
Yeah. So when I was getting out of it, right? So the first day we left on the road trip, I was still depressed. I was still in that darkness for sure. And I think what I had to do is I need to make a list because I time blocked myself very well when I was in business. I said, okay, cool. This is where I'm waking up. This is my workout. This is where I'm gonna come back. This is my first meal. This is my second meal. This is my lunch, like everything. I needed to do that again. So I said, okay, I'm gonna wake up at 6 a.m. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pray. I need to bring God back in my life. When God was in my life, they tell you that when you're darkness, your depression, whatever it might be, you look back and you see footsteps, but you only see your footsteps. And you think that God has left you. You think God is not with you, but God is carrying you on his back through the darkness to the light. That's one thing I want people to understand. Those who are religious on here, he is with you, and he's going to take you through whatever hardships, trials, tribulations that you're facing right now. Just believe in him because he's a blessing. So when I did that, I started to focus on God. What God showed me was people that came into my life that needed me during that healing process, as they call it, divine appointments. And he said, these people need to talk to you. These people need you. These people need you to tell your story. This is like a calling for me. This is why I want to get on podcasts. This is why I want to talk about this, because you never know who you're going to impact. Right? This isn't for me. Like I'm not trying to do this so I gain clients. I would much rather you message me on Instagram, or you send me an email, or you send me someone on Facebook and you say, hey, listen, man, I listened to your podcast a year ago and you changed my life. Like that is the impact I want to make. So brought God into my life. Woke up at 6 a.m. because the sun was rising. That's when I needed to wake up. That's why I wanted to wake up. So we're both early risers, right? I loved waking up early. You wake up before the sun, you're beating half your competition already. Wake up early. I'm going to the gym every day. That's number one. I know the gym was where I needed to be because the gym put me in a happy place. It releases serotonin, dopamine. You're going to feel good. I didn't feel good at that time because I couldn't get a pump. I had insulin resistance. I was fat. I was going through, I said I was fat. People would see me and be like, Clint, you're not fat. Because I know my potential. I was fat. Okay. I was not where I wanted
I get
to be.
it.
Let's just say that. I started taking care of myself, right? I started taking care of my skin. I started taking care of my teeth. Like all of this stuff stopped when you're in depression. You don't care what you look like. Okay. I didn't get a haircut. I didn't shave. I didn't brush my teeth. I would shower some days. I'd order Uber Eats. I'd play video games all day. That's all I give a fuck about, honestly. And I look back at it now, I'm like, what? Who is that person? But I'm glad that I went through it so I can learn a lot of lessons moving forward. And then from there, I said, okay, I need to connect with 3 to 5 people every single day. Either I know them or I don't know them. So I can, one, establish these relationships again like I did before, because that's truly what life's about, is the relationships you make, the connections you make, the memories you make. And I had so many people in my life that cared for me. And during my depression, I pushed everybody back. I pushed everybody back. My family, my best friends, my relationships, everything. So I connected with those people, and it brought joy to me. It brought joy to my life. It brought energy to me. And I had people message me every morning like, hey, Clint, listen, dude, welcome. I'm on 75 hard right now, right? Day 26. The impact you can have by just starting a program like that to show people what's possible is incredible. And I tell people to post about their journey every single day. Like, post about what you're doing, because people want to be surrounded by people who are doing things in this life, in this world. And so many people are not. So God, 6 a.m., workout. And then I said, okay, well, I'm not going to do limitless coaching anymore. And then I changed my mind. I said, you know what? I am going to do limitless coaching, but it's going to be totally different. I'm going to incorporate the 5 F's: because I went and saw a good friend of mine, JC, Coach JC. Shout out to you, brother. You changed my life. I'm gonna let you know that right now. When we got to his house, there was a 2-day immersion that he does. And we didn't know that we were setting up for this. We walk into his house, he could see it in our eyes. He can see that we are hurting bad. He's very faith-based, right? God speaks through him. Like he knows, like there's a reason we were there. We walk into the bedroom, he's got his win all day shorts, his shirt, his shaker cup, his playbook. He's got everything for us. He's like, hey, listen, man, this is your day. You're a champion, you're a fighter. You are going to make it through this. We're going to take this 2-day immersion. We're going to show you what's possible, right? So we go to work out with him. We do stretch lab. We go and we speak. We speak to a lot of his coaches and people. And it was just an amazing, amazing time to really reconnect with ourselves and understand. He said, Clint, while you're on this journey, you are going to write a playbook about how you healed through this journey and what you did. And you're going to use that playbook to help others moving forward. I didn't know what that meant 9-10 weeks ago, but it finally started to unravel as I did, right? So limitless coaching changed from fitness, nutrition to family, focus, finance, faith, to really focusing on the 5 areas of your life. Still incorporating all of that. I'm still doing the fitness and nutrition, but only 12-week programs because I don't want to just solely focus on that. And then I'm also going to have an accountability group, which is going to called Limitless Life, where you can come on and I'm going to have weekly speakers. They're going to come on for calls and we're going to talk about the 5 F's and we're going to help people in those areas. And then if you do want to go into the one-on-one coaching, I only take 10 people on every 6 months because I realized that I cannot take on 100 and I'm definitely not going to get to that level again. As you said, like, what are you going to do differently? 10 people every 6 months. It's a high ticket coaching program. And then another 10 people. That's 20 people all year round. But I can focus my energy. I can get on calls like this. I can really focus who I'm talking to give the most to that person. And I'm excited, man. It's probably about 13 days till launch. We got a lot of work to do, but we're going to make it happen.
Absolutely, dude. And I am so excited for this because I can just feel your passion through the computer here. And that's the cool part about it. It's like, you found something that is your calling and you understand that and you understand the value that you bring to the world now changes your entire outlook on life, right? All of a sudden it's like you go from thinking that nobody gives a crap and you're not that important. And if you disappear off the planet, nobody's even going to notice. And then something happens and you get that spark and it's like, wow, okay, this is what I want to do. And I love what you just said. You changed it to a high ticket coaching program.
Yeah.
You now understand because you've gotten your confidence back through this transformation. You understand your value and you understand before you were really, cutting yourself short. You were putting yourself out there for pennies on the dollar for your true value. Now you get it. Let me ask you this. When you understood your true value and you raised your prices, lowered the amount of people that you were working with, did you have any pushback by anybody whatsoever? Uh-oh. Clint, you there? Oh, there we go.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm losing you, Chuck.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I can hear you. You're just frozen.
How about now? Yeah, you're frozen too. I don't know what's going on. Hang on. I'm going to pause it for a split second here. All right. I've never had a problem like that before, but I found out you can pause the recording on this too. So that was kind of cool, but I don't even remember where I was going with what I was saying other than you got your confidence back. Have you had anybody still? Damn, this is no bueno, my friend.
Yeah.
What's going on with the internet today? Internet's not having a happy Monday like we are. It's good on my side now, pretty good. So we'll rock.
I don't know.
So have you had anybody from your clients, that said, hey man, you've raised your prices, it's not worth it to me anymore? Or basically has everybody that you've worked with said, man, now I really want to work with you. And in essence, your business actually exploded when you understood what you were worth?
The biggest thing is I realized that I'm very selective when it comes to the people I work with, right? And before I would take on I would take on anybody as long as you met like the certain standards of like, okay, you're the age range, you're where we could help you, you're a CEO, you're executive, you're a business owner. This is what you do. This really like this is your commitment that you're making. Now it's like you have to understand that in the next 6 months you are about to change your life, and I need to be 100% committed to doing everything that we need to do moving forward. And I can get on a call, and one of the gifts that God gave me is I can read people very well, right? And I can see if they truly want this or not. Because I think in coaching, it's a lot about the person and not so much the coaching program. It's
I
how
think
you
that's
can
100%.
identify with that person. It's how you can understand, it's how you can really, really get a feeling for, because your coaches that you work with, you need to be almost like best friends with them, right? There's got to be a certain point where like you're a coach, but also you got to be like, you are so close with this person that you can tell them anything, they can rely on you, they can listen. There's a lot of different qualities in a coach that I look for, especially for a coach, especially now going through multiple coaches. There's another thing I want to talk about. Like when you hire a coach, everybody who's listening to this podcast, you're not hiring them based upon like just what you're going to learn. You're hiring them based off the years of experience that they have and the money that they have spent on the multiple probably masterminds and coaches and things that you truly don't know about, to learn the knowledge that they do, that they're going to help you explore and learn and implement. Because I think a lot of people get misguided when it comes to, oh God, Clint, if say, let's just say you're coaching $10,000. How are you going to charge $10,000? Well, the fact that you don't understand that I've spent $100,000 on coaching to get to the point where I'm at now. So just having the belief, and then somebody's like, listen, I can't do that. Like, I completely understand. Hey, I've been there. Let me give you some resources that want to be there to support you, even though you can't go through my coaching program. That's perfectly fine. I still want to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not for everybody. And I've been a part of masterminds. I've been part of, $100,000 coaching programs. And some people look at you like you're crazy and they say, dude, why would you waste your money, is what they say. Well, you can do whatever they're teaching you. Just go out and learn it on your own. And the fact of the matter is, if I can save 5 years of my life not having to go through all those mistakes, that's the whole point of hiring a coach. And I've gotten to utilize my 25 years of experience going around the country, helping younger sales teams develop and helping roofing companies across the country not make the same screw ups that I've made, and I think it's invaluable. And I don't think you can have enough people in your life that can teach you from their mistakes to, help you avoid that. And that is really what separates the winners from the losers. And, it's like when you go to an event. I'm in roofing. We go to these events where we have these big conferences and it's self-development and all that. And the first day, everybody's there. They're gung-ho. It's all crowded and packed and everyone's ready to learn. The first night, everybody goes out and they get drunk. And then it's like, dude, you paid $1,500, $2,000, sometimes $10,000 for a seat. And you didn't even show up until noon the second day. So you have no idea what happened. Complete waste of your time. And, that's when you learn, like you say, there's the doers and there's the sayers. And the people that actually do it are the ones that tend to be the most successful from what I've seen. Oh, man, our internet's gone to hell today. This sucks. Our internet is trash. I don't know what's going on. I've got mine set up real nice. I've even got it plugged into the Ethernet. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's brutal. I do have the local recordings though, so it's still recording both of them, and it'll come out clear in the end. It's just weird.
I got pretty good. But people, my first mastermind, right? I remember I was at the gym training at 5 a.m. and I was ready to go. These people are walking in looking for like, I don't even know if they're looking for the room, the elevator, whatever it was. They're like drunk as could be. And they're like, hey, Clint, what's up, man? What are you doing? I was like, I just got done a workout. I'm just getting ready for the day. They're like, oh man, we haven't gone to bed yet. I was like, wow. So you guys will not be there at 8 a.m. and I will see you when you get there. But for me, it's like I never judge those people, right? You could be at a certain point in your life where, like, I learned this from one of my mentors. These masterminds, they usually talk about the same thing over and over and over, right? They give you the same motivation speech. They give you the same, like the speakers usually do the same hoorah. So the masterminds, people go there to meet a certain person, make a certain connection, and then they're out. I learned that from my friend who went to Tony Robbins earlier this year, signed up for 5 days, spent $10,000, went there for 2 days, met the people he needed, met the connections he needed to network, and then he left. He's gone.
Yep.
That's all he was there to do. So it comes to a certain point, like, you know, you're there for him, you know what you want to do, or I was new and I want to learn, I want to be a sponge. I'm going to soak up as much as I can, all the information I can. I was there on my notes. I'm taking down everything. I'm like taking pictures of the presentations. Like I was like very gung ho, but I'm glad I did because I learned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, right? Going there and actually immersing yourself in what you're doing and coming back as a better person. I've never understood the mindset of going to an event and not getting the most out of it possible, because I mean, you can stay home and do that other stuff, and it doesn't cost you nearly as much. So it's that mindset. Some people are, you know, they don't get out very often. So anytime they get a chance to go anywhere, it's a party. And I get that. I'm like you. I don't judge anybody. I appreciate the people that take the time and put in the effort to even show up. What you do with the information you get from that point is up to you. And, you know, not everybody processes that the same way. Some people are just on a different level of maturity. So I can appreciate that. We're getting up here. It's about 47 minutes in. I try to keep these around an hour, and I apologize, man. I don't know what the hell's wrong with this internet today, but it's going to look good on the final product because I've got the local recordings. Let's kind of wind it down a little bit here, and let's talk about what your plan is. You know, like you said, you've got a big launch coming up here. You're on a world tour right now. What does the next 6 months, what's the next year, what's the next 5 years look like for Clint? And, you know, ultimately, what does your big picture look like?
Well, honestly, the launch is in about 2 weeks, which I'm super excited about. So we'll have, my goal is to have, I want to take 100 people, if I could do this, 100 people through the workout, the 12-week workout plan. So that's going to be the Limitless Fitness. And then I want to have 250 people in the accountability group, right? So that's going to be $97 a month. And you're going to get access to the full group. You're going to get the limitless mindset to live a limitless life. You're going to get recordings, do calls. And then what I'll do is I'll set up different calls during the week too. And I'll put my call booking link in there. So if we want to hop on a call and talk about whatever, you know, I'll be a soundboard. I'll be somebody who can give you advice. I'll be somebody who can push you in the right direction, whatever that might be for you. And then the coaching, you know, only taking on 10 people for the next 6 months. And then after that, the next 10 for the next 6 months. But after traveling the US, which we still have another, I would say 50 or so days left, because we're still going to St. Louis, then New York, Boston, all the way up around and down back to Tampa. I kind of want to, when I get back to Tampa, travel the world, to be honest. I think that there's so much in this world to see. I can do everything from online. I can get on Zooms just like this. I want to go speak at different conferences. I want to get on as many podcasts as I possibly can and tell my story. I really just want to help as many people as I can while helping myself, while traveling, making connections, making those relationships, and making a change in the world any way that I can. Don't have to be a millionaire. Want to live comfortably and enjoy my life. And honestly, find someone that I can enjoy that life with. That'd be amazing. I think on this journey is healing and what I'm going through, and I think I will. But I think there's just my friend, or not my friend. While we're on this journey, Coach JC has a faith-based coach, right? That he has that takes over his faith section, and he told someone that the prince has to become the king before the queen will present herself, right? So we need to mature, We need to grow up, and we need to be the person we need to be before that comes into our life to impact the world like I do, and motivate, inspire me, and uplift as much as we possibly can, and help each other grow.
I love that, man. And I agree with you 100%. You know, sometimes you put the cart before the horse and it doesn't work out. And I think that as you continue to evolve in life and as we continue to grow and develop as people, we realize number one thing you have to take care of is this, and you've got to make sure that you're where you're supposed to be. Because it's not fair to bring someone else in that's maybe already on a different level than you and bring them down, or, you know, whatever. One last question. I always like to ask this, especially when it's people like yourself who are doing big things, helping people change their lives. Everybody's got this one story, at least. A lot of people that I talk to have a lot of them, but during all this process, during your depression, during your, you know, your starting of your business, the failure, so to speak, stepping back, learning what you're doing, at some point in time, you've had somebody that you've never met before, someone that you have never seen, that you've never spoken to, that's reached out and said, Clint, I've been following you, man. And even though we've never met before, you have made a major impact in my life. You've helped me change. I've overcome depression because of you. Tell me about that, man, because I know you've got at least one or probably 1,000 of those people that have done it. How does that make you feel when someone reaches out and says, dude, you are making a difference. You're helping me. And I appreciate you for the time, for the energy, for the money that you've put into what you're doing, because you are making a change in the world.
Man, you're gonna make me tear up.
That was the point.
One of the best things you could possibly see, because you kind of, you like to have that reassurance, because sometimes you post on social media all the time, you do all these things, and you might think it's not impacting people. My mentor once told me, because I was really worried about how many Instagram likes I got and Facebook likes and shares and all that stuff. And he said, if there was a plane that crashed, there were 25 people on it. Is that a lot of people that died? I said, yeah. He's like, so your post that has 25 likes, it's a lot of people that saw it. It's a lot of people that like that post. So understand that every post you make is for you. It's for those people. So when I get those messages, and I probably, you know, I get them either daily or weekly, about like just some motivation to like, hey man, keep doing what you're doing, man. I changed my life because you. Hey, I lost 50 pounds because of this. I remember I had one of my friends from Hawaii messaging me on Snapchat that I totally forgot. Like I didn't even have Snapchat for the longest time. And she said, I'm going to send you this progress. Sure. I never told you this, but I lost 100 pounds because I followed you in your journey. I was so motivated by you. And I was like, wow, that's so amazing, because it's not ultimately about you. Like, lost 100 pounds, but the people around you. And I didn't understand, who's listening to this podcast, like, you need to be the best version of yourself, because you're going to make a trickle effect. If you listen to A.I. he talks about being the one. You could be that one person that changes that family tree. You could be that one that motivates every single person around you to make a change. Because I promise you, when you change the way you look at life, life changes. And you could be that one.
It's so true. And you don't think about it in those terms until someone comes to you and says, man, you know, I appreciate you because. And, you know, Clint, thank you so much. It is 6:58 a.m. on Monday morning. You and I have been chatting for over an hour now. I appreciate you getting up, taking the time to do this. I always love having people come onto my podcast that I've never met before and I've never spoken to. And I have to say that even though the internet's been somewhat shitty on this end, it's going to be fine because I'm recording each one individually and it's going to come out crystal clear. I hope everything makes sense because we're both probably trying to make sense of what the other one's saying. But your message is strong, man. And I really, really, really appreciate that. And I thank you so much for taking the time. I'm going to follow you and I'm going to continue to, you know, help promote you as well, because I think what you've got going on is very important. I understand your target. I understand the people that you're looking to help because I'm one of them.
Yeah.
And, you know, if anybody that's watching, I think you probably already did kind of go over it a little bit, but if they're looking to get a hold of you, to follow you on social media, just to touch base and say, hey, man, I appreciate what you're doing, or even to look for some guidance or help, what's the best way for people to get a hold of Clint?
Yeah. So Instagram, Clint_Riggin, and then Facebook, Clint Riggin. And then you guys can DM me, message me at any time. I check my message requests. I don't have bots. I don't have VAs. I don't have anybody answer my messages. Like, it's all me. I'll probably send you a voice note back because I'm pretty busy. But I would love for you guys to follow the journey. And also, if you have any questions, I'm probably the most open in some way. So please reach out to me anytime. Chuck, thank you so much. This has been a true blessing. Whatever I can do to help you, the people around you. Also, where are you located?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas, the most beautiful town in the world.
Nice. San Antonio. As I say, I already went through Texas, but hey, if I go through Texas again, if I'm there at any time, I'll definitely hit you up and we'll get together. We had lunch or coffee or something.
For sure, my friend. I look forward to that. I look forward to following you for the remainder of my time on this planet. So, Clint, thank you. I hope your start to your week was, great. This is the best way I could think of to kick off a week. I've got a huge day ahead of me. Yes. I hope you do as well, my friend. So thank you. Everybody that watches, I say this every week. I appreciate you guys. I'm about 135 episodes deep on this podcast now. It's insane how much traction it gets and how many people just come up and randomly say, man, I watch your show and I really appreciate it. So we're going to reach some people that we don't even know yet today, Clint. And I appreciate that very much. So thank you guys for watching. Until next time, my cheesy closing line is always keep on.